Every single time you walk out that door, your dog thinks you're gone forever, not for a few hours, not until dinner, forever. You've probably seen it. The moment you grab your keys, they follow you. The moment the door closes, they sit and stare at it, sometimes for hours. Most people think this is just separation anxiety, a behavioral problem, something to train out of them. But scientists who spent decades studying dog cognition found something that makes this so much stranger and so much more emotional than anyone expected. It's not about anxiety at all. It's about how your dog's brain processes time. And the answer changes everything you think you know about what your dog feels when you leave. Here's what most people assume. They assume dogs experience time roughly the way humans do. Maybe shorter attention spans, maybe less precise, but basically the same, a sense of past, present, and future. That assumption is completely wrong. Dogs do not have a concept of future time. Let that sit for a second. When you leave the house, your dog has no mental framework for the idea that you will come back. The concept of "you'll return in 8 hours" is neurologically impossible for them to hold. Not because they aren't intelligent. Dogs are extraordinarily intelligent, but because the human concept of future time, planning, anticipating, scheduling, requires a type of self-projection that dogs' brains simply aren't wired for. So when you walk out that door, from your dog's perspective, you're just gone. But here's where it gets fascinating. If dogs have no concept of future time, how do they know you're coming back at all? How do they anticipate your return? Why do they wait by the door? The answer isn't time. It's scent. Your dog's sense of smell is between 10,000 and 100,000 times more powerful than yours. You already knew that. But here's what most people don't know. Dogs use scent decay to measure time. When you leave the house, your scent lingers. It's on the couch, on the floor near the door, in the air, and it fades at a specific, measurable rate. Your dog can literally smell how long you've been gone. Researchers believe that as your scent fades toward zero, your dog's anticipation of your return increases. Their brain isn't counting hours. It's reading a scent clock that has been calibrated over thousands of years of living alongside humans. And here's the study that confirmed this. A team of researchers left dogs alone for 3 different durations: 30 minutes, 2 hours, and 4 hours. During the separation, the dogs showed almost no difference in behavior. They mostly rested quietly, regardless of how long the owner was away. But at reunion, everything changed. Dogs left alone for 2 or 4 hours showed dramatically more intense greetings, higher physical activity, more tail wagging, more owner interaction, compared to dogs left for only 30 minutes. Their heart rates were measurably higher. They weren't just happy to see you. They were experiencing something closer to relief. Now, here's the part nobody talks about. We've established that dogs can't hold the future in their mind. They can't anticipate your return as a planned future event. But what about the past? Do they remember you leaving? In 2016, researcher Claudia Fugazza at the MTA-ELTE Comparative Ethology Research Group in Budapest published a study in Current Biology that changed everything scientists thought they knew about dog memory. She used a method called "do as I do." Dogs were trained to watch a human perform an action, jumping, touching an object, walking in a circle, and then replicate it on command. Then she tested something nobody had tried before. She had owners perform an action, then told the dogs to lie down, as if the session was over. No imitation was expected. And then, unexpectedly, she gave the command, "Do it." Could the dogs remember an action they weren't told to remember? In 33 out of 35 trials, yes. The dogs recalled complex human actions even when they had no reason to encode them into memory. Even after an hour delay, they still remembered. This proved dogs have what scientists call episodic-like memory, the ability to recall specific past events, not just learned behaviors, but actual moments. But here's the critical finding Fugazza's study also revealed. The longer the delay, the faster the memory decayed. After just 1 hour, performance dropped significantly, and the memories that decayed fastest were the ones with the least emotional weight, which means your dog remembers you leaving, but the memory of you specifically, your face, the moment of departure, fades. What remains is something much more primal, the emotional residue, the feeling of absence. So let's put this together. Your dog cannot hold the future. They cannot think they'll be back at 6 p.m. They can read scent decay, but that only tells them how how long you've been gone, not when you're coming back. Their episodic memory of your departure fades within the hour. What's left? A state that has no human equivalent. Your dog is not waiting for you, not in the way you wait for something. They're existing in a kind of extended present, a present defined by your absence, without any cognitive anchor that the absence will end. Studies using fMRI scans on dogs found that the brain activity when separated from an owner is distinct from any other emotional state. It's not boredom, it's not fear in the classic sense. The closest human equivalent researchers have proposed is grief. Not the grief of knowing someone is gone permanently, but the raw, present tense pain of someone being gone right now with no ability to project forward to when that pain ends. Your dog is not sitting by the door counting down the minutes. Your dog is sitting by the door because the door is the last place your scent was strongest, and their brain, running on 15,000 years of evolutionary programming, is telling them to stay close to where the pack leader was last detected. Here's why this matters beyond just being fascinating. Most dog owners leave their dogs for 8 to 10 hours during a workday. They assume that because the dog seems fine when they come home, relaxed, maybe even asleep, the dog was fine the whole time. The research tells a completely different story. Dogs separated for longer periods don't necessarily show distress behavior during the absence. They go quiet, they rest, but their internal stress response, measurable through cortisol levels and heart rate, tells a different story. The emotional experience of that 8-hour absence isn't distributed evenly across 8 hours. It front loads. The first 30 to 60 minutes after you leave is when your dog's stress response peaks. After that, many dogs settle, not because they feel better, but because the nervous system has no choice but to regulate. Up to 70 million dogs across the United States and Europe are estimated to experience separation-related behaviors at some point in their lives. 70 million. And most of their owners have no idea because the dog has learned to hide it. So the next time you grab your keys and your dog looks up at you with those eyes, they're not being dramatic. They have no concept that you're coming back. No mental image of 6 p.m. No reassurance that this is temporary. They just know you're leaving. And for the next hour, however long it takes for their nervous system to regulate, they will sit in that absence without any way to think their way out of it. For 15,000 years, your dog's ancestors evolved to never be separated from the pack. Every instinct they have screams that separation means danger, means death. And then we invented the 9-to-5 workday, and we left them alone. What your dog feels when you leave isn't weakness. It isn't a training problem. It isn't something to be fixed. It's loyalty. The same loyalty that made dogs choose to live alongside humans in the first place, turned inside out by the one thing they were never built to handle, being left behind. And most of us never even stopped to wonder what that felt like.